everyone, welcome back to Function Pilates. Today is day 5 of our 8-part beginner series, and our theme is alignment. Alignment is one of the core principles of Pilates. It's about how your head, shoulders, spine, pelvis, and feet are organized, both in stillness and in motion. So as you move today, think about stacking your joints, lengthening through your spine, and maintaining control through your center. When your body is aligned, your muscles work more efficiently and your movements become more powerful and supported. So use your breath and your internal awareness to check in with yourself. Where are you grounded? Where are you compensating? And how can you come back to balance? So let's move with intention and alignment, and let's go ahead and get started.
Let's go ahead and get started and having a magic circle nearby. So a Pilates ring. We'll take our headrest down flat and adjust our spring tension here to 2 mediums and 1 heavy. Go ahead and lie yourself down, and we will begin with a nice little warm up to get our abdominals all heated up for our full body workout here. So maybe you want to hug your knees into your chest, get a nice low back stretch here. Just kind of rock it out from side to side. Just finding your center and just getting in that Pilates mind here as we get started. So with your feet resting on the foot bar and arms down beside you, I want you to begin to rock your pelvis back and forth, just allowing the pelvis to get a nice arch in the low back, and then think of flattening the low back into the mat as we move in to our pelvic tilts here. So it's this rocking sensation. And at this point, you should be pretty familiar with this movement pattern. But if you are just joining me in on these 8-part series, just think about, again, flattening your low back against the mat. And then as you rock your hips forward, begin to create an arch. So we'll shift into our double leg stretch. So tabletop the legs, hands to the knees. Eyesight to the belly button, simultaneously reaching arms and legs out as you circle the arms around. So what we do here is an inhale and then exhale to circle the arms. So we inhale to reach in opposition, exhale, circle the arms around. Now notice that your upper body is being very quiet. It's not moving. Your head should be nice and quiet here. Beautiful. Just a couple more, maintaining your speed. And then slowly, you're going to go ahead and relax it back down, take a little break. So that's our double leg stretch. We're going to move into what we call single leg stretch next. So once you are ready, you can go ahead and bring the legs back to tabletop. Now extend your right leg, take your hands to your left shin, and then you're just going to switch the legs as you switch the hands. So notice here, upper body is still quiet. Pelvis is very stable. Energetically point out through your toes. And then bring the legs back in. Take a little breather. And so we're going to add on to this layer effect here. So the legs are going to do exactly what they did, except now we're going to go ahead and take our hands and interlace them behind our head. And we call this crisscross. So we're going to add rotation here to identify more through the obliques. So extend your right leg out. And we're going to go ahead and switch and turn the upper body. Now, as you rotate through the body, I want you to think about pausing for a moment before you speed into the next alternate side here. And when we pause, we can take note that we're really working through the obliques. Beautiful. And then go ahead and rest it. So about 5 each side here. So that was a total of 10. You can go ahead and take your headrest about halfway if that works best for you. And then let's start with our footwork. So heels are on the foot bar, hip distance apart. Toes are looking at the ceiling as we press out. Again, just taking this time to double check your form and straighten those legs. So again, you want to think of placing your feet up against this imaginary board. As you're pressing out, we're not completely locking out the knees, especially if you hyperextend through your knees. We don't want to totally lock out those joints, but we do want to have a micro bend here. Think about pressing through those heels equally as well, so you have equal weight distribution and not favoring one side or the other here. Good. Let's move it down to your toes. hip distance apart, heels are lifted, and exhale, press out long. So as we're getting stronger with each time we're doing this workout in our footwork, I want you also to pay attention that are the hips grounded, or do you feel like the tailbone is lifting up off the carriage? So if you do feel like that's happening, maybe today I want you to focus on keeping the weight in your tailbone here. So how does that change the feeling in your midsection? And does that change anything in your upper body? Do you feel a little bit more tense? So those are the things I want you to take inventory of. Let's bring it back in. Toes are on. Let's connect the heels. So your Pilates V. Exhale, we press out. Inhale to bend. Remember, as we're bending the knees will separate, but I just want them about shoulder distance apart. So however wide your shoulders are. We're keeping it a pretty narrow frame. We're not completely in a wide turnout position. Good. Bend, controlling your movement here as we work these muscles eccentrically. Excellent. About 10 repetitions, and then we'll move it up to your heels, a slight turned out position this time from your hip socket. So the knees can still be in line with your shoulders. It's just that the feet are going to be more wider apart. Excellent. And again, since we're back on our heels, you want to think about keeping your foot up against that imaginary board once again. And why do we do this? Because it's helping to strengthen through the ankles here. And you're going to really work through those calves as well. So you should feel the difference as opposed to feeling a little bit more rocking or momentum occurring at the ankles. And let's stay in that wide position. Just shift it down to your toes, elevate those heels. Exhale, we press out. So as we're going through this footwork, I just really want you to piggyback off our warm up here, because I want that internal heat to be still developing as we're going through the footwork. So you should have felt a little bit of heat there through your midsection as we finished up our warm up, and just really holding on to that feeling as we move into every single exercise that we're doing. Good. Let's bring the toes back to the center, about hip distance apart there. We'll press out for our calf raises. So heels are dropping and then we're lifting through the toes. So remember, it's a really intentional articulation process here as we lift those heels up, and very intentional as we drop them down. They're just not flying down underneath the foot bar. So you want to really take control here. Very nice. So anywhere from about 10 to 20. I did about 10 today. But again, you guys can go ahead and pick and choose what feels right for you. But we're going to go into prances here. So as we alternate the legs, there's a pause at the top, and then we switch to the other side. And this should feel like it is more work as opposed to running. And then bring yourself back in again. So we'll carefully sit ourselves up. We're going to get to our single leg footwork. So 2 mediums and a light spring. And today we're going to add in a little movement with our single leg footwork. So we've been doing a lot with the opposite leg in tabletop. So this time I'm going to have you guys keep both heels on, and then let's go ahead and take your right leg out straight for me. So when you push out with your left leg, bend your right knee into tabletop and then stretch it back over the foot bar. So again, think of it being very energetic. It's very engaged, that right leg. Your left leg is the mover. So again, we want to pay attention. Do we have this equal weight in our hips here? So we want to feel like we're not teeter-tottering to one side, since this is unilateral work. Good. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, we press out. Excellent. About 10 on each side here is what I'm aiming for. Right heel goes on, left leg extends over the foot bar, point out through those toes. Inhale here, and exhale, we press. Good. Inhale, reach it long. Feel the control and how this definitely will shift the way things feel for you, especially if you have those weaker and dominant sides. So maybe are you pushing more into the shoulder blocks with your shoulders? Do you feel yourself tense up in a different way than it was on the other side, or more relaxed? So again, we're reflecting with these questions. It's so important to start to really understand how these exercises are affecting you. So let's move it down to your toes. Heels are lifted. Let's reach the right leg over. And as you press out, I'm going to have you flex the foot, lift it straight up for me. And just for the simplicity, I'm going to keep you guys in a flexed foot position. So think of like pushing your heel up towards the ceiling as you lift from your hip joint here. So you're getting a nice stretch through the hamstring as you reach up. And I really want this to focus in on the midsection. So it's like your abdominals are pulling that leg up, if that makes sense. So think of your right leg being very heavy. Good. Let's go ahead and switch it to the other side. Right toes are on, left leg is extended. Pull those toes towards you and then reach the leg up. And again, really think about this imagery coming out from your heel. Because a lot of times if we're super tight in our hamstring, we're gonna be pointing through our toes, so do the best that you obviously can in your body. We're gonna try to avoid hiking the hip up. So you wanna feel, again, this leveling out through your hips and this heaviness. But you're doing great. Palms are relaxed. Chest is wide open. And let's bring it back in. All right, so legs are warmed up. We are ready to go. Right back into our abdominal series here. So let's go ahead and reduce our tension to a medium spring, and an extra light spring is what I have on. And then you can grab a hold of your handles here. If you're in loops, I'd recommend going a little heavier. So wrists are above your shoulders. Find one leg at a time in tabletop. Point through those toes. We're going to go ahead and start by dropping those arms down beside the hips and raising them back up again. Good. Adding flexion if that feels good for you today. So we're curling the head and chest up. So we're doing a few of these just to prepare ourselves. We're going to go right into hundreds here. Nice. So remember, when we're lifting, it's so slow, it's controlled. Our eyesight is following our belly button. We don't want to be looking at the ceiling because it does risk extra neck tension that we don't necessarily need to be feeling. Good. So on this next one, you're going to go ahead, take a little breather, reset, maybe windshield those knees back and forth. And when you're ready, arms are back up, legs coming back into tabletop one at a time. You're going to curl the head and chest up and pause right here. Start to pump those arms here ever so gently as if you were dribbling basketballs. And tabletop the legs nice and strong, very energetic. You can stay here for the whole time. Or if you want to go out to 45 degrees, you can extend your legs out to 45 degrees. So pick and choose what works best for you. The most important thing is that you're not arching your back and you're breathing in for 5 counts and you're breathing out for 5 counts. In for 5 counts and out for 5 counts. You've got it. Keep those arms long, shoulders reaching away from your ears. Nice and easy here. Pull your belly button down away from your t-shirt. Good. And then slowly bring those arms back up. Take a little breather and rest the legs. Very nice. So we again should feel quite warm here. We're going to hang up the left handle and we're going to do some obliques. So right hand's going to go in first, and then left hand's going to go in first. Right hand's going to go on top of the left hand. Tabletop those legs, maybe just slightly shift the knees to one side. And as you curl yourself up, you're going to flex and rotate over to the right hip and lower back down. Keep in mind we're keeping those arms nice and long. So think of the fingertips reaching to the wall in front of you. And just take note here that you're not crunching your shoulders up to your ears. So go slower if you need to avoid that happening. And I just did about like 5 or 6 here on that one side. So we'll take it to the other side. So now this time right hand goes in first, left hand goes on top of right hand. Starting with the wrists above your shoulders, we'll tabletop the legs slightly. Bring those knees over to the right hand side and then curl yourself up to meet your left hip. So again, this could feel very different than the other side. It could feel easier, it could feel harder. And so if you're not truly aware of your body, this is really great homework for you to start to understand maybe where some aches and pains or discomfort is occurring due to the imbalance of the body. Okay, let's go ahead and sit ourselves up, and we're gonna get into some hip work here. And we will be using the magic circle, so make sure you have that handy. And then I'm changing out into my loops. I do have now a medium spring and a light spring on for my resistance. And I like that because it's not so overbearing in the legs, yet it still does help strengthen the hips. Plus, it does get a lot of core work here as well. So very carefully, let's go ahead and place one foot at a time into the loop here to the best of your ability. Taking your time. And then what we'll do is we're going to put the ring around the ankles so that you're pulling the ring apart. We're creating what we call abduction. That's abduction. This is all about strengthening the outer part of our hips here. So think of pulling the ring to opposite directions of the room. And then let's start to lower the legs down towards the springs and carefully return them back up. So your stopping point is going to be once you feel like your back is arching when you lower your legs. And then if you feel like your hips are lifting when you bring your legs up towards the ceiling. So you want that tailbone to be really grounded and heavy here. Beautiful. Good. Exhale, we press down and inhale back up. Remember, we still are pulling that ring apart to help support the hips. And I really love this too because it does assist with promoting pelvic stability. And we really need our stability in our pelvis to be strong because that is also what helps to support our core. Good. Nice and easy. Keep those palms relaxed. And I'm doing about 10 repetitions here. So let's take the legs and bend them into tabletop. Keep pulling that ring apart, straighten your legs, and then bend your knees. So deep breathing here. Remember, we talked about that lateral intercostal breathing since day one. You want to think of expanding the ribs as you inhale. And then as you exhale, think of your ribs pulling back together like a corset. Good. It's like you're almost like pushing this heavy box away when your feet are flexed. So there's a lot to think about. And again, our theme here is alignment. So go ahead and remove that circle. And then let's take the legs straight up. We'll go into some actual hip circles. So press the legs down and sweep them around. And again, as we focus in on our alignment, this is a great opportunity to double check, are both of your legs opening up at the same time? And are they opening up equally? So there's a difference. So if you feel like or if you actually see one leg is opening up more than the other, then you know where to correct that. So I would say if your right leg is going out further than your left, that I would take that right leg into a smaller circle because it's needing to catch up with the left side here. Very nice. Let's go ahead and reverse it. Exhale, sweep it around. Inhale to bring it back up. So this is all stuff that you'll learn in our online teacher training program if that's something that you're interested in. This is a lot of the stuff that we go over. Again, I am following what we call the progressive flow. And so you learn all of these different exercises, and then we just basically help you program build and place them into these categories. So there is a ton of exercises you guys learn, but obviously there is a way to program to not feel overwhelmed about it as well. Good. Keep those shoulders relaxed, facial muscles relaxed as well, and take a nice Buddha stretch here. So the soles of your feet are together, knees are apart. Listening to your breathing. Good. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and carefully take one foot out at a time, hang up those loops, and we'll go ahead and come on all the way up. So I'm exiting to my right hand side here. And we're gonna go into a stretch, and then we're gonna go into more of a full body work exercise on the same side before we go into the other side. So we're hitting Eve's lunge here. So your right foot's supported, right knee is down. I'm sorry, left foot is supported, left knee is down, and your right knee is over your right ankle. Arms are long and straight, shoulders away from those ears. Taking that inhale. So this is a hip flexor stretch. Beautiful. And then go into your hamstring stretch. We're going to square out your hips here so that you can feel this in the meaty part in the back of your right thigh. Keep your neck long and your eyesight just slightly down so that you're not looking straight ahead. And the reason why is I don't want you to break the neck there. I want it to all be in line with each other. So try that again. Run through that hip flexor stretch. So that deep lunge. Tuck your tailbone under to shine your hips forward. That will help to enhance the stretch a little bit more. And then straighten out your right leg. Think of your right hip going back as your left hip goes forward. That's a really great way to double check that you are staying squared through your hips. Okay, so let's go into what we call scooter. This is a full body work one exercise. And now you're gonna lift your left knee off the carriage. You're gonna bend into your right knee like you're sitting into a small chair. And I want you to think of tucking your tailbone under like you're scooping your belly in. You're pressing with your left leg and the knee is off the carriage the whole time. So find a comfortable tempo for you. This exercise is meant to go faster, but I want you to really think about the movement without jeopardizing your entire form and alignment. Good. So we are inhaling back, exhaling it forward, like you're driving that knee in towards your chest. Good. And then go ahead and bring it back up. If you didn't get it the first time, don't worry about it. These are harder exercises to really execute well. So that's why this will be great for you to go through all week and you can continue to practice. So we're going into your Eve's lunge again, shoulders down. This is where your right knee is resting on the carriage. Your left knee, double check that it's above your ankle. It's not shearing over your toes. We don't want that to happen. Tuck that tailbone under for that deep hip flexor stretch. Arms are long. And getting right into your hamstring stretch, squaring out those hips. Think of the back of the thigh really stretching out here as your left hip goes back, right hip goes forward. Let's try that again. So let's deepen into that stretch. Good. Keep those abs in. They're just not sitting there relaxing. With Pilates, we're always trying to engage our core, even when we're feeling like we're stretching, right? Good. Square out those hips. And if you guys do like more of these tips, I am now sharing a ton of it on my Instagram page. So feel free to follow me at Vanessa Kelly Pilates. Heading into your scooter. So your right knee is off the carriage, soften through that left knee, tuck that tailbone under. So both knees should be in alignment here. And then press out with your right leg. Let that knee hover off the carriage. Inhale back, exhale it forward. Again, once you have a nice, beautiful tempo here, you can pick it up as long as you are not compensating your body and your alignment. Beautiful job. Keep that breath. You should hear your breath. And then bring it back up again. Okay. So this is what's so fun about like when we start to build our programs, we're creating more stamina. And that's just one of those exercises where we can continue to build more stamina and adding on to those exercises. Okay, so from here, I am sitting on the carriage facing the back of the reformer, basically facing the risers. I'm still in the loops and I'm pressing back into what we call chest expansion. So palms are facing behind me and they're going past my hips. So think of your fingertips reaching towards the floor. Think of these heavy weights sitting on top of your shoulders so that you're not risking elevating your shoulders or shrugging them up towards your ears. And this is opening up through your chest strengthening your back extensors, so basically your postural muscles, and you're gonna feel the back of your arms, so your triceps. Now turn the palms to face your hips. It's like you're slicing through air. Again, think of those fingertips reaching towards the floor as much as you possibly can to lengthen out your arm. And I did fail to mention this earlier, guys, but rule of thumb, your heels should just be hanging off the headrest. So if you are not having your heels off the headrest, make sure that is happening. If you're too far up, make sure you scoot yourself back. Good. Nice and tall for me, look straight ahead. One more variation, turn the palm to face forward now. So my thumbs are on the outside of the loop, and then I'm going back into it. By this point, you should be feeling the heat developing into those arms, right? Again, you can lower the tension. I believe I am on 1 medium spring here. So I didn't say that earlier, but in case you are wondering, I am on that 1 medium spring. I will make sure I post that up on the screen here for you guys as well. Beautiful. And rest it there. Good. So again, if that's too much in your hip flexors, you can always sit on the box, and we've done that many times already in previous workouts. So at this point, we're going to go into what we call our side overs. And I'm going to walk you through a progression here. And this is our part of our lateral flexion rotation series. Foot bar is going to go down flat. All springs are on, and our safety strap is available. Let's take our left foot into the safety strap. You're going to sit on your side. For me, I'm on my right side here. Leg is supported on the box. Headrest is flat, and my right hand is on the headrest. So this is your first progression, okay? Your opposite hand is on your chest. Hips are stacked. Now I'm going to have you softly bend into your right elbow and then straighten your arm. But we're maintaining contact right now. I just want to introduce the lateral flexion movement for you. And keep your left foot flexed in that safety strap at all times. So we're bending into that right elbow. And when you are going to feel ready here, I'm going to have you start to disconnect your hand away from the headrest. So now you're not pushing off with momentum. I just want you to gently take your hand away so you can feel the extra layer of gravity that your obliques have to now participate in. Good. Keep that chest lifted. Eyesight is straight ahead. Exhaling up. Inhale it down. Good. Take a nice little stretch, a rotational stretch here. Keep flexing your left foot. So this is just a nice little introduction of side overs. We will gradually get into full-blown side overs, but that probably won't be until the intermediate series if that's something you guys want to see. So let's turn to the other side and take that right foot into the safety strap. Flex your foot. Left hand is on the headrest. Right hand is in front of the chest. Eyesight straight ahead. Make sure your hips are stacked too. And you're bending into your left elbow and then straightening it. So I really want you to focus on using your torso to lift you up. There is no assistance with your hand or your arm here. So watch that your shoulder doesn't tend to creep up towards your ear, because this is preparing you for disconnecting the hand away so that you can feel the obliques take charge. Perfect. Keep that breath going. It's like you're in 2 panes of glass here. So try not to lean forward. Try not to look at your feet. Try not to look at your hand. I know that's a lot, but again, we're focusing on alignment. And then take that rotational stretch here. This should feel really nice, like dessert. Beautiful. And then very carefully, we're going to go ahead and sit ourselves up. And we're going to go ahead and take it into our extension work. So we'll go into Swan prep, and you can adjust your springs down to a either a light spring or a medium spring, whatever feels really good for you today. And then adjust your box into what we call long box, up against the shoulder blocks, right in the center, and then you can go ahead and lie yourself down on your stomach. Good. So separate those feet, point those toes, hands are wide on the foot bar. Push out to straight arms. Let's lift the chest up. And this isn't really about how high you can go. So if you're like, I just cannot go that high, it's just not working for me today, that's okay. This is about lengthening through your spine. So think of your whole entire backside of your body really opening up here. Good. Shoulders down. Excellent. And when we lift our chest up, I want you to think about inhaling here. Shoulders down. Good. A few more. And I just want to also make a note here that if you haven't heard already, I am doing a Greece retreat next year, June 5th through the 12th of 2026. And I would love for you guys to join me. So I'm going to put that info here in the description box below if that's something you would love to do. Daily Pilates mat classes. I'm also going to add in some restorative postural therapy type of classes. But then we are going to be having a guided tour for 8 days, doing catamaran cruises, wine tours, cooking classes, and all sorts of fun things. It's a women's only retreat. So sorry, men, but yeah, I would love for you guys to join me. So if you have questions about that, definitely let me know. We are booking limited spots right now. Okay, let's finish it off with a couple roll downs here, guys. So reach those arms up. Let's go ahead and reach those hands to the floor. Nice and slow. Rebuild your spine. Head's the last thing to come up. Shoulder roll it back. One more time. Let's lift those arms up. Let's reach those arms down. Just checking in with your body, how it feels. Slowly rebuild your spine. Head's the last thing up. So happy you guys made it with me today for day 5. I look forward to seeing you next week.